Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 10 of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune for brand new episodes over Anime King and Anime King 3. Yes, if you're new, you heard that correctly. I have 3 channels guys, which I post on every single day, so 3 what is a day for you guys to enjoy. Anime King 2 this channel, and Anime King 3. Links will be down in the description for Anime King and Anime King 3 for you guys to go ahead and check them out and join the Anime King family if you haven't yet, so you can become a part of the family guys. And also, comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, as Minato was frightened. Instead of Naruto waking up, the fox was the one that woke up. As Minato asked if he told Naruto the truth. If she, because apparently the fox was a girl. But the fox told him no. What is the point of putting him through so much unnecessary pain after what they did? It seems like they did really something bad. Minato was frightened by that. By the time Kushina arrived, the fox had went back in. As she rushed over to Naruto showing concern. As she added on a new seal on him, she was furious at Minato. The reason was still unknown. As Minato had to get him back to Tsunade though. It broke her heart. Yes, you could literally see it on her face. Yes, Tsunade was his mother, right? Not her. As he took Naruto and brought him back to Tsunade, she was left alone there. Tears welled up in her eyes. Time passed after that as everyone wanted Naruto to get some rest because he was severely exhausted. Jiraiya had came by and told him not to loosen the seal. If it was a life and death situation, he should. Jiraiya knew something that he was not telling everyone, as Tsunade noticed the way he was skipping around everything. Yes, after all, Kushina had said to herself, Jiraiya was there that night, and she wondered what the hell did he do. After all, Minato didn't know if Naruto had the fox inside of him. Something weird was going on. Too many secrets were being kept held away from Naruto. And that is exactly what you want, right? The truth. He wanted the truth. He wanted to know what the hell happened to him. Why did they abandon him? Why did they kick him out of the house? He just didn't know. But he was feeling a bit on edge from what Jiraiya told him, that the fox could emerge and rip his body apart. And the seal, he should not touch it no matter what. Leave it as it is. So Naruto decided to leave as he went to train with Neji. Time passed as it was final day of June exams as they made their way there. As Tsunade was hugging him with dear life, squeezing literal life out of him. As she was embarrassing him in front of everyone, as she kissed him good luck over and over. They went in as they took the first part of the test, as many of them failed. The only teams that remained in the end was the Kiri team, the Kumo team, and the Konoha team, which had Itachi, Naruto, and Anko. With that they made their way, as they had to show the teams where the force of death was for them to meet up with Kurenai. As Yujito, the two-tailed Nibi, Jinchuriki spoke to him. It was really awkward for her because she didn't have much interaction with people as she spoke to him, but the Nibi told her that he was lying. The fox was not blue, and he was definitely not a girl, so she didn't have any idea what he was talking about. As Yujito wondered why he was doing that, but yet she could sense no malice from him. Something was definitely wrong because Nibi had no idea what this boy was talking about. That definitely can't be the nine-tailed fox. So what was he talking about? A blue woman? That made no sense at all. When they arrived, as they were told by Kurenai about the forest, given that it's just 3 of them, they were to gather the scrolls in the forest, and you could also destroy the markers so other teams won't pass. It was 8 of them in there, and each team must find one of them. As Kurna told him to sign the waivers because you could die there. The forest seemed very alive, as you could hear animals screeching around in the air. It seemed rather scary, but all of them were ready for the task. Mainjutsu, Gozu, and Kojo. Those were the Kiri members. They had been through much worse. After all, at Kiri, the bloody mist, their tests were on a completely different level. Nothing but pure agony and death. So yeah guys, so basically let's put it off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? The forest was noisy. The forest was alive. The forest was out for their blood. It had been the first thought all three of them had at the same time. When you find yourself facing off against man-eating beasts, man-eating plants, and man-eating insects, you were very thankful that you had a Uchiha that knew fire jutsus, and a Midarashi with snake jutsus, to summon them, to help incapacitate the animals, and a Senju with a healthy dose of water jutsus as they spent their first night in the forest, as the group had nested themselves inside of a large tree. With some ivy and some thread, they were able to create a fire in the center, and hid themselves deep within the tree trunk. Okay uncle, said Naruto. I came here a while ago, training, uncle said. As she remembered that man, golden eyes, black hair, who treated her like a daughter while they were training, in their private time, but yet he discarded her like a broken tool once they were done. She took a breath. There's a river, running straight through, here. Going along with it, we should be able to get to the tower. It's easy if you take it that way. But I guess we'll have to deviate, after all we can't stay out in the open. The problem are the codes. What exactly are they, said uncle. Good question. Usually, I would say something written on something else, said Itachi. Like ink on paper, or edge letters on a wooden table. His hand reached towards his ninjato, the weapon that he brought. After all of them were able to bring one weapon, as he left behind the kunas and shurikens. The fire cracked silently, as Itachi's eyes flicked to the side, as uncle muttered, Senijatsu. Itachi's Sharingan sprang to life, as the snakes rushed out towards the intruder. As Naruto swung his katana as it slammed right against the Kunoichi's blade, the one right here. As Amoy brought down his blade only to be blocked by Naruto Tanto. Sparks flicker in the air as Itachi jumped towards Naruto's side as they were back to back. As Uncle looked up to see the Kiri team coming down the tree bark. 2 teams against 1, huh? Well, that's not fair. As she realized how her snakes had dashed through Mainjutsu body. We're surrounded, Naruto-kun, said Itachi. You know I hate when you're right, said Naruto as he brought his hand up. Mist quickly swallowed the 3 of them. Uncle Kunai came but she blocked very long sharp claws from the Nibi Jinjulki. Mainjutsu laughed. Hidden Mist Jutsu against Kiri Shinobis. That's useless. As he pulled out her Ramagri, the 2-handle legendary blade, as it had a curve going down the center with 2 holes at the tip and a chain connecting the 2 handles. Maybe, said Itachi with a smile, but you shouldn't have looked at my eyes. As he locked his gaze with him, the stalemate broke that moment as Anko dashed into the mist, followed by Nibi Jinjulki. On the other side, Amoy and Toru realized they were no longer fighting a strength contest with the grey-haired boy. The mist dispersed a minute later to reveal a completely still Mainjutsu, probably under a Genjutsu, with a nice pile of explosive tag written on the tree bark with blood. The explosion rocked the entire forest. As the 3 Konoha ninjas nodded to each other, they would have simply looked for their code and leave. But it seems like Kumo and Kiri decided to ally to take down Konoha. Well, if they want a war so badly, they will have it, and they will face the best of what Konoha has to offer. As they were moving out, Miyaizo saw them leaving, as he started to chase after them. I got this, said Naruto as he went through hand sign and slammed his hand in a tree bark. Poof! Miyaizo looked at it, but nothing emerged. The group kept on running. Miyaizo simply smirked. It seems that the brat miscalculated. The next moment, something wrapped around his waist. He was yanked as he was pulled into darkness. He screamed as acid burned at his clothes and burned at his arm and his legs. He was then spat out by whatever swallowed him that moment. He was twitching on the ground. Did the boy just summon a demon? An invisible demon with sharp teeth and an enormous stomach or something? Miyaizo was afraid. He didn't know what just swallowed him, and he didn't see anything. He was completely afraid. As he looked around, his eyes snapping towards every sound that made. He ran, as he was just left in his boxers and his torn shirt from the acid that had melted away his pants and almost melted his shirt completely away. He had no weapon, even his poison goblet had been melted down by whatever that was. The fun thing that he didn't even notice yet, he had become bald. Yes, the acid had eaten away at his hair. With the Konoha team, can't believe Kumo and Kiri got together. Well, it does make sense to take out the opposite force with overwhelming strength, Itachi whispered. Do you think we're gonna get any rest tonight? Tonight? I don't think so, said Naruto. They came at us and they fail. I'm sure that they are going to want to wrap it up quickly, because otherwise, they know we're going to get the upper hand. Uncle spoke up next. I can summon a big snake, but if I end up calling Manda, I don't have 100 sacrifices. Naruto and Itachi blinked. What the hell she was talking about? Who was Manda? But they didn't need that. No need to bring out the big gun, said Naruto. Itachi, start peeling off the bark of a tree. Uncle, bring me some more ink. Explosive tags were the first skill that he mastered. He could do it with his eyes closed. So the Kumo and Kiri shinobis better watch out. Meanwhile, with the Kumo and Kiri shinobis, stop, said Yujito. As she raised her hand as main jutsu stepped on another twig. The next moment, wooden logs fell downwards as they were inscribed with seals on them. As they started to glow, Kojiro dived to the side as Yujito used her Nibi chakra to parry all the explosive logs. Miyaizo had jumped back. As the moment he touched the tree though, it started to sizzle. His eyes went wide, boom, as he was thrown. Immense pain flaring up in his back. All around them they realized was a minefield. We just gave them 2 hours, Karu yelled. What kind of monster make a minefield of explosion in just under 2 hours? Well, they did survive an extract mission, as Jennings Amoy said. He had his kuna in his hand, just to be safe. Our mission should be finding codes, not losing limbs, Kojiro said. Thank Kami, it doesn't hurt that much, Minjutsu said. As his body slowly returned back to solid, he had the ability to turn his body into liquid form, as he did a moment ago to avoid the shards from the explosive. I think your comrade has fainted, Amoy said, as he pointed towards Miyaizo. As his back was filled with wooden splinters, he'll be fine eventually, Minjutsu said. Kojiro, carry him. As Kojiro nodded, so we need a plan, Karu said, or we're gonna end up being mincemeat before we reach the tower. As Yujito lifted her head up and sniffed silently in the ear. I can still track their scents, but they're all over the forest now, she said. How can that be possible, Amoy said. I mean, how could... The explosive tags. It was written in their blood, you idiot, said Karu. Which means, there's explosive tags all over this damn forest. Damn it, said Ninjutsu. We wasted time. Now we just up the bar for this test. Let's find out what the code pieces are, and once we do, let's destroy the other ones afterwards. As they agreed to that, they made their way off in the opposite direction, until Amoy stopped. He looked up in the sky. We're screwed. Snakes. A pile of snakes that looked like they had blocked out the entire upper forest was dropping down towards them, and all of them had explosive tags attached to them. The point was the snakes could poof away in smoke, the group could not. Boom! The explosions went off. All the animals around ran away from that section as the explosion swallowed up a large part of the forest. A distance away, Naruto was laying out the rest of the plan. Time skip. Smoke, scorch, burn, tear. The Kumo and Kiri team had managed, despite trying to be blown up repeatedly, to survive, and they found the codes in the forest. The codes were nothing more than words written in ink. They were all over the forest, on scrolls. They had barely managed to find 4 just by working together, as they were going to get out of here. As they were praying that they survived this test, the doors had small openings as they pushed the scrolls inside. Thank Kami, said Karu. As Yujito stepped inside, her hair was uneven and leaned to the side and scorched a bit. She felt like she wanted to kiss the ground. Thankful that she finally made it here, out of that hellstorm of explosions. Just as they stepped inside, the ground started to sizzle. They screamed in panic. Laughter could be heard. Yeah, we traumatized them good. Very, very good. Did we deliver a good enough message, Itachi said, as he looked towards Uncle, as he was standing there as well. Behind them was Jonin's. I believe we did, Itachi-kun. I believe we did, said Naruto. The 2 teams glared at the Konoha ninjas with murderous gaze. Please, no fighting in the tower premises, said Kunai. Furthermore, you will fight plenty at the end of the week, when the last part will take place. Yujito nodded as she pointed at Naruto. Can I kill him first, she said, as Mainjutsu stepped in. No, I want to kill him first, said Mainjutsu. Kunai coughed, getting by the attention. No one killed nobody. Now listen well, the final part will be held in the stadium of Konoha under the watchful gaze of your Kages and other representatives and the various daimyos and entourage. And while you should refrain from killing any and all opponents, the Kiri group grow like that so they couldn't kill. It may happen in the last part of the exam because you will be asked to go all out to show your skills, so you might have an excuse. But the examiner for the last part will have all say. So if he or she declares match is over, then you will stop attacking. Understood? Why tell us this now instead of later? Amoy asked, perplexed. First off, you may renounce now to aim for a tuning. It will not impact the rest of your team. Secondly, since the numbers are uneven, as she made her way and picked up a box. So you have to pick a number, she said. Miyaizu shook his head. I won't fight, just to be embarrassed after what those bastards over there did to me. As he could barely stand. I'll take the exam another time with Gozu. As Kurenai nodded, as she pointed towards the room. Then please go over to the infirmary, to that room, she said. As he made his way off, hopping. As Naruto reached in and picked his numbers, as the others picked their numbers as well. So, go by first to last, she said. Naruto smiled. Do I need to say it, he said. As he pulled out the slip. 1. Amoy, look down. I'm 2. Well, I'm 3. Who's my enemy, said Anko. 4, said Yujito. I am 5, said Minjutsu. I'm 6, Karu said. So Itachi and Kojiro are number 7 and 8. Well, that's it, Kurenai said, as it was going by the orders. So they had the time to prepare and get ready. Time skip. It fly past really quickly. The arena was swarmed with people. The Hokage, Minato and Mikaze stood in the Kage box. The representatives from Kumo and Kiri sat in their respective seats. Since neither of the Kages from Kumo or Kiri decided to participate, the one from Kiri was busy with some internal problems, and the one from Kumo decided to send someone in his place, as he was not up to coming. Behind them was their guards, as Minato had chosen Genma and Radio. The only two other than him that knew of the Harishin technique. On a seat next to him was his wife, Kushina Namikaze. Her eyes looked around that vivid and worried expression. In her lap was Katsumi. As she was looking at the large man to her side, the 5-year-old kept on looking at the man, who was covered in bandages. He was a Kiri ambassador, with a rather large sword on his back that was in wrappings. She was sure that he had some big female lips under that mask. Well, those bandages. Like how she was sure that Kakashi had a giant, large nose under his mask, which he was afraid to show her. That is why he hid his face. She giggled to herself, thinking about how it would look. The Kumo representative was a man. He was rather bulky. He had a tattoo on his shoulder for iron. He was wearing shades, and he was also writing something down in a notebook and bobbing his head to some sound that she wasn't hearing, because she did not hear any noise, but yet he was bobbing his head like he was listening to music. Her father was looking at the iron tattoo on the man's shoulder, strangely. On the right side of the box stood the Hyuga family, both main and branch, as not coming would be seen as an offense, and plus, Hayashi wanted to see how strong the 3 Jennies from Konoha were. Next to the Hyuga clan stood the Akimichi clan. They were the best people to sit next to the Hyugas after all. They just came to eat and enjoy the show. And next to them was the Nara clan. The only one that would cheer from the clan was Yoshino Nara. The rest of them seemed rather laid back, as Yoshino had her baby boy on her lap. Right next to them was the Yamanaka clan, where Inoichi wanted to kill a little boy that was shamelessly flirting with his daughter. Although his baby girl was already 5 years old, and the boy was still 5 years old, still, she was his little princess, and he didn't like it one bit. On the other side of the Kage box was the Uchiha clan, as they stood composed. Many of them had a genjutsu to hide the fact that their Sharingan was activated, as they would steal whatever jutsu they can, and copy it. Stealing was a bad word. Take in loan, that was the best word. As Mikoto, wife of Fukaku, was pointing at Itachi as she had Sasuke. Big brother's gonna win, right mom? Said Sasuke as he looked up at his mother. Well, Sasuke-chan, we'll have to see. He does have a really strong team, said Mikoto. But he's so cool, he's got the Sharingan already. As Sasuke pouted, why isn't mine activated yet, he said. Just give it time, she said. Shirofle is here. Just give it time. Next to them was the Aberame clan. Stoic as always. And next to the Aberames was the Inuzakas. The dog lovers were making half of the noise in the arena just by being there, as Tasume was grinning as she looked at the scowling face of her firstborn, Hana. Come on, pup. One day it's gonna be you down there as well, she said. In her lap was her 5-year-old son, Kiba, who was trying his best to break away and just run up and down. But mom, it's just not fair. We're both the same age and he's already gone on extract mission, said Hana, as Tatsumi simply grinned. Then you should train more, puppy. Hey mom, do you think Aniki's gonna win? Asked Kiba. Hana narrowed her eyes. Since when is he Aniki, she said, as Tatsumi laughed. Well, you did say you didn't want to babysit any longer, did you? So I hired a team to keep an eye on Kiba. Hana's face turned red. Wait, you mean he's been in our compound? In our house? And I didn't know it? As Hana blushed. My. Maybe I should give you another talk about the birds and the bees soon. Hey, what's going on, Kiba asked. Nothing you need to worry about. But you're telling Hana-chan. She's older than you, but no buts. Shh, it's about to start, said Tatsumi, as she looked down into the arena. To the side of her was a seat for the civilians, and actually, members of the Senju clan as well. Well, that include people that was waving a flag with Naruto face on it or the Senju symbol. Neji was amongst them as well as he asked permission. This side was cheering for Sensei, so why bother to stay with the rest of the family? He was sure the other members of the branch family was jealous of his freedom, but he was just a kid and he would have looked bad to move seats for all of the branch members to come and cheer. Tsunade herself was waving a giant flag with Naruto face on it and the Senju symbol right underneath his face. As Shizune looked a bit embarrassed because Tsunade was a bit buzzed. She had drank in happiness as her Naruto-chan had passed. Next to them was Sarutobi with Asuma, and beside Asuma was Kurenai. She was a bit annoyed because of all the smoking. She was sure that all of them smoked just to annoy her for some reason. But to see Naruto-chan down there kicking ass, it was worth it. Strangely, Danzo Shiny was on Hiruzen's side, yes, as he was watching as well. As Hiruzen was happy to see Naruto, as he valued the boy like a grandson, while Danzo wants to see the future strength of Konoha. Unknown to Kurenai, Danzo could use a wind of Inte that blew the smoke away from him and send it all Kurenai's way. Come on, Kakashi, start this already, damn it, said Ibiki, as he was in the civilian sector. He wasn't a part of any major clan, and he just didn't like some of them. Beside him, there was an empty seat. Ide. You know who'll not grudge won't work on me, the man whispered. As you remember, flashback. All of you that remain in the room, fail, Ibiki said. All of the Genins that had stayed behind were shocked, as everyone started to yell and shout. Shut up, you maggots, Ibiki said. His murderous gaze watched over them as they calmed themselves, as they looked to him for a reason why they fail. Those who abandon the mission, they're trash. But those who abandon their teammates, they are even worse than trash, said Ibiki. But shinobi rules are there to be followed, a voice said. You pathetic fool, Ibiki said, all of you would have delivered the information to your village while leaving behind your teammate. But what guarantee that you have that your teammate is not captured and that information is tortured out of him? What guarantee do you have to know that they won't pry information about the weakness, the strong points, the routine of the village out of him? By leaving your teammate behind, you deliver to them, the enemy, a dose of information from your teammate who is all alone and can be tortured. You bunch of pathetic losers are not even worse than trash, but you are also stupid. All of them quiet down as they realize there was truth in the man's word. You may leave, and no, none of you are worthy of becoming more than Genins. These are permissions from each of your village, from your Kages that accepted my request, as he held up a scroll with each village signature on it. All of the Genins fell in despair as they lowered their head. They will be nothing more than Genins. Meanwhile, Kakashi was in the ring. The arena had sand and dirt, trees and bushes as well, and a very tall wall to prevent jutsus from hitting the spectators and daimyos. Well, they were protected by barriers still by Fuin Jutsu, so no explosions or kunais could reach them. There was only one problem, there was no water source. So for water users, they will have to release more chakra than usual for them to mold water. Not to mention it was a clear day with the sun glaring down on them. The first match will be between Amoy of Kumo and Naruto of Konoha. The others may wait as the contestant boxed over to the side. Itachi gave Naruto a nod of the head and a wave of the hand as Anko patted Naruto on the shoulder. You can do this, she said. Now, I will call a defeat or win if the match get too one-sided, and I may call a stop if I can avoid a death, said Kakashi. But you will not be considered punishable if you mistakenly kill your opponent, so go all out, he said with a eye smile. He then jumped back. Ready? Set? Begin! Amoy moved. The moment Kakashi said that as he drew its katana and shot forward. But he then stopped, confused in the crowd. as he then rolled out of the way as the ground exploded where Naruto was standing before. Damn you and your damn explosive attacks, Amoy said, as he saw the transformation because the boy did not have a shadow. As Amoy looked around, the dust from the explosion showing nothing around him, he hid himself very well. Amoy katana started to sparkle with electricity as he drove it forward on the ground, shouting, "Lightning release, electromagnetic murder!" The lightning ripped through several trees, tearing through them as a blur flew out of the trees and landed on their wall. "I know your tricks," Amoy said. "You won't defeat me," as he charged towards Naruto. As Naruto leaped off the wall and let gravity do its trick, as he poofed out shurikens and kunais, he launched him towards Amoy. Amoy katana moved as he deflected and sliced through weapons that would have disabled him. As Naruto was about to touch the ground, Amoy was upon him, but Naruto sped through handstand and his back turned. The moment he landed, Amoy was too late as he turned towards him. "Kaze no Yaiba," he said, as a blast of air pressure teared through Amoy katana and hit him right in the chest. Blood splattered as a sharp wind blade slammed into him as he dropped to the ground. "It's still incomplete," said Naruto, as he was now on his feet. "That is why you're still alive," he said. Amoy coughed up blood as he tried to move, but his chest was in intense pain. "I forfeit," he said. The medics quickly rushed out. As Naruto stood there, Kakashi came over. "Winner, Naruto Senju!" Cheers erupted in the crowd. Asuma cigarette dropped from his mouth. That's a high rank wind technique. But he's not a natural wind user. "Yes, Naruto-chan's a water user. But he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, doesn't he?" said Kunai. Asuma couldn't help but nod. "He would make a fine Anvu," said Danzo, as Hiruzen took a puff of his pipe. "He has seen that before. He wasn't even shocked with the blood splatter over his face," Danzo said. "His wind blade need refining though. Such an attack, if used correctly, would have tear right through the opponent's chest." As Danzo smirked, after all, he was the best wind user in Konoha. The second was probably Hiruzen's son himself, but he was the best, so he knew what he was talking about. "I suppose so, but I doubt that he will easily accept," said Hiruzen. "I didn't say anything, Hiruzen," said Danzo. "Oh? I thought you were about to say that you would like to train him." "Perhaps I read your mind too soon," said Hiruzen with a smile. Meanwhile, in the Senju part, "Naruto-chan, go my boy, that's my boy Tsunade yell. Beat the crap out of them all." "Tsunade-sama, please stop it." "Sensei, you're great," Neji said. "You're great, Sensei," the boy yelled, cheering along with the others as Hayashi watched him from where he was with his Byakugan. He was acting like a normal kid cheering along as well. He glanced down towards his eldest daughter. She looked nervous and uncertain beside him, with a mixture of fear as well. Hinata wanted to cheer, but she could not. Her father would clap at the end of the tournament, and that was only then they all could clap. But still, she was glad that Naruto had won. Ayam was also there in a pretty sunflower dress. Her father had told her that he could handle things, so she was there to cheer Naruto on. Up in the box, Killer B. He was a representative for Kumo. Well, the boy did good. Not to be brood. Against the Nine Tails, even the best would fail, he said. The Kiri representative scoffed. "I say the brat's got good eyes. And I heard that he got the Kiri hidden Miss Jutsu as well. Might have been born in Kiri. He would have made an excellent Kiri shinobi," said Zabuza, as he watched the grey-haired boy clean his face with the back of his hand, just wiping off the blood. He was completely unfazed by it. "But he makes an excellent ninja of Konoha, doesn't he?" said Minato, trying to keep a neutral tone. "Maybe," said Zabuza, "but we will see how he fares against Maid Jutsu." "Oh, and what makes you believe that he will survive the cat?" "That is gonna be a wrap," said Killer B. Kushina eyebrow twitch. That doesn't even make sense," she said as she looked towards Killer B. "Mom, did he hit his head?" Kasumi asked, as she wondered if this man beside her had a brain injury. "I am sure that Yujito-chan will wipe the floor with your kunoichis and your jinjulkis. She can fully control the form after all," said Killer B. He saw the shock wash over their faces for a while as he smirked. After all, they heard him clearly because he did not rap. "Mom, what's a jinjulki?" Katsumi asked. "It is someone that has a tailed beast, a biju within themselves," said Kushina, as she looked down below. The match was about to start. As Kushina wondered if this Yujito girl fought Naruto, and if she won easily by using the biju, would she kill him? Kushina wondered to herself. As the match was about to start, Uncle versus Yujito. Kakashi looked with a eye smile towards the student, who was teasing Yujito with cat Nintendos. "Tell me, Yujito-chan, are you frigid outside of your clothes?" Do you like milk? Do you spit your balls? Can we start already, said Yujito, as Kakashi nodded as he jumped back. Ready? Begin! Uncle brought her arm forward as snakes emerged. They opened their mouth as they had tontos in their mouths, rushing towards Yujito. Yujito stood there as her body started to change. A blue glow washed over her. A single tail, her nails extended. I'm gonna play with you a bit, said Yujito, as she leaped. Her speed far surpassed Senjutsu, as Uncle Snakes could not keep up. As she tore them to pieces, Yujito shot forward as Uncle brought up her cloak as Yujito slashed. But she only slashed an empty coat. The wooden log inside, it was ripped to splinters in mere seconds. That was a fast replacement, Itachi said from the sideline. His Sharingan able to see the movements. Yujito looked around before she sniffed around. She then slammed her fist into the ground, cracking it. Uncle burst out of the ground already, finished the handstand as she released a massive stream of fire that wrapped itself right around Yujito as he was trying to compose on her, but the flames of the cloak stopped the fire. Yes, the blue cloak seemed to be overpowering the fire. Another tail emerged from Yujito as she swiped the fire away. Really? Fire. On a fire cat. This is how you do fire style. Nezumi. Kyode. As she spat out fireballs that had the shape of mice with the blue flames raging. Uncle leaped, but it was too much as it exploded. She was thrown like a rag doll. She slammed on the ground hard. Her clothes burned badly, but she wasn't done as she stood up once more. She smiled. Is this the best you got? Her shoulders started to flare. A blue glow emerging. No, said Yujito, but you're not worthy of that. As her hand glowed with the Nabi chakra before elongating and grabbed Uncle. Uncle's seal stopped as the 9 marks around it hold it tight, preventing it from Uncle transforming. Yujito then slammed her in the ground. Uncle screamed from the pain as Yujito raised a claw hand once again to drop it on Uncle. But Kakashi appeared and stopped it. Midarashi Uncle is clearly unable to fight any longer. Stop your attack. She should have forfeit, said Yujito. As her body returned back to normal, she cracked her neck. And also, she shouldn't have teased me that much. Winner, Yujito. Just like that, Yujito made her way over as she sat down on the bench on the sidelines. Both Itachi and Naruto was angry. She really think that she could belittle her friend so easily and get away with it, as both of them did not rush over to Uncle because Naruto saw his mother going over there. And secondly, Uncle would be rather pissed if both of them were disqualified because they followed her to the medical bay. But once they got their fight, they were gonna make her pay. Meanwhile, in the Kage's box, Katsumi had wide eyes. Was that the Judiki power? She said, unable to pronounce the word correctly. Kushner turned towards Killer B. Why didn't she take the exam in Kumo, if that is her strength? Bro thought it would be best to put her strength to test, so the 9 tails she would fight, and she would best him with her might, said B. So basically a slaughter of other village genins. Nice, said Sabusa. But she didn't kill that other girl, he said, as he watched the medics took her away. She did well, considering her opponent, said Minato. She didn't look scared at all. Well, she trained under that Orochimaru, right? Said Sabusa. I kinda want to see if it's Kusanagi or my head cleaver blade. He probably wouldn't have fought fair, said Kushina. Neither would I, said Sabusa. We are ninjas, not samurais. The next match was called Mainjutsu versus Karu. He brought his blade out, his grin wicked, as his pointed teeth were on full display, as Karu brought out her katana. Kakashi raised his right hand. Begin, he said, as sparks fly. The next second, Mainjutsu's sword got the form of a giant hammer. It broke right through the girl's guard. She was thrown like a rag doll. She crashed on the ground repeatedly before slamming into the wall. Mainjutsu didn't give her any time to rest as he was already upon her, ready to finish her off right then there. Just as he was about to drop the hammer on her back, her katana flickered for a second as she yelled. A sword Kinjutsu style. She spun her blade rapidly as it tear right through him. Kakashi thought the boy was done, but there was no blood. Instead, there was water. Ninjutsu simply smirked. That would have hurt. A pity that my clan can become water to avoid such physical damage, he said. He swung his blade again as he was slammed right into the side. as she was launched. Some of her ribs must be broken as she crashed hard. It seems like he's just playing with her now, said Zabuza. Boy's fast, said Killer B, as he looked over towards Zabuza. Why put him in genuine exam with a blade like that, since he know how to use it? Well, the same reason why Kumo placed her Jinjulki in the exam, to slaughter the component, said Minato, his face showing a slightly darker tan, as he seemed angry. But he kept it cool. Wait, don't we have a Jinjulki as well? Don't we, Dad? Asked Katsumi. Kushina gave her a wry smile. Yes, he was the one that won the first round, Senju-san. She hated saying that, as Senju-san was her Naruto-chan, but she could no longer say that because Tsunade was his mother now. Tsunade was no longer down there. She had went off to help that Kunoichi, uncle, Kushina believe her name was, that got injured. Wait, is he strong? Can he do the cool things like a blonde girl? Like smash and such? As Minato bit his tongue before he spoke. He's unpredictable, Katsumi-san. Trust me when I say that you won't have to rely on all of his strength to win. Down below, Kakashi raised his hand. Stop the attack, as Meijuto stop. His blade was inches from crushing her to pieces as he turned to Kakashi. So I guess I won. You did. Winner, Meijutsu Hoshigaki, said Kakashi as he moved back to the bench. Itachi and Kojiro stood up. Itachi, be careful out there, Naruto whispered. Don't worry for me. You're gonna have a tough fight, said Itachi as he eyed Yujito. Despite her teammate being thoroughly beaten, the girl didn't even bat her eye. She just kept herself calm and controlled. Win this, Kojiro, Meijutsu whispered in his teammate ear. Or, if you can't win this for me. Kojiro gulped as he knew how bad it would be. Itachi versus Kojiro. The two boys faced each other, and Kojiro did the biggest thing, the biggest mistake that you should know when fighting Uchiha you should not do. He looked right into Itachi's eyes. So the match did not start. Yes, it did start, but Itachi already won. As Kojiro moved, as he started to slice Itachi, Kojiro didn't know where he got this speed from, but Itachi stood no chance. As he moved, he kicked Itachi up in the ear before slamming his heel right into Itachi's stomach. The boy dropped to the ground hard. But that was just the illusion. What was really going on was that Kojiro was standing still, and Itachi stepped towards him with a kunai. This is bullshit, Meijuto said. I'm gonna murder him. He just embarrassed your sensei. He embarrassed all of them. He embarrassed Kiri by losing so pathetically. As Itachi placed his kunai at Kojiro's neck. As he glanced towards Kakashi, who looked up towards the Kage's box, Minato was repressing a grin. As Zabuza was scowling hard, Killer B on the other hand was outright laughing. Oh boy, that was fast. This ended up without even a blast. This was boring, said Kasumi. As Kushina explained to her, Itachi is really good at Genjutsu, and he does train with Senju-san, who is really adapted at the art. Boring. Why can't they use ninjutsu, said Katsumi, as she interrupted her mother. Not every battle is won with using flashy techniques, Katsumi-chan, said Minato. Meanwhile, in the Uchiha stance, Fukaku was watching. He seemed to be a bit annoyed for some reason, while Mikoto was trying to console a betrayed Sasuke. But brother won like that? That wasn't the way to win. Using strong fire jutsus, over the top blade battle or something. Anything is better than this. Now Sasuke-chan, you know that your brother is conserving his strength, said Mikoto, as Fukaku seemed to smile at that. I doubt the Senju, for all it's worth, will be able to beat the Kumo Jinjulki, said Fukaku. You want to bet on that? As a voice came from Tsunade herself, as she just came back from tending to uncle wounds. The girl was still unconscious though. A nervous tick mark appeared on his forehead as he looked over, as Tsunade had her flag in her hand. Tsunade-san, said Fukaku. I say he won't last more than 5 minutes, and I say he's gonna trash that Kumo Jinjulki down to the ground, said Tsunade. And just like that, everyone got into a heated conversation, as Naruto and Yujito could hear. The both of them made their way straight towards the center of the arena. Well, seems like your mother just jinxed you, Naruto-kun. Yujito raised an eyebrow. You have a mother? As Naruto looked at her. I do. You don't? He asked. Her face became steel. I was chosen from the recently born in Kumo. My family is a village, and loosely the Raikage, she said. She said nothing more. She shifted into position. Both of you ready? They nodded. Alright then. Begin, said Kakashi as he leaped away. Suddenly, mist condensed itself around the two. Kakashi was surprised. He was sure that the mist jutsu was a weapon Naruto arsenal, but he thought with the water it would be harder to use it. The boy is smart, said Zabuza, And I'm not saying this because he's using one of Kiri's favorite jutsus for assassination missions. He's still gonna get burned and then grill and turn because our cat is on the prowl and she has yet to howl, said Killer B. I'm sure he will pull through. Unpredictable, remember? Said Minato. Meanwhile, Yujito, the mist, was impairing her vision and also her scent, as the mist smelled like the boy entirely, so she couldn't pinpoint where he was. So she was gonna hit fast and quick. Let's trash him, Nibi. But he even gave us some private time for some session making. No one can see you in this mist. You should give him some private time. No! You know, you really are frigid. The woman that smelled like snake, she was right. Nibi? Just in time, the chakra armor flushed her body, blocking the tonto that came towards her throat. As the person vanished back into the mist, Yujito dropped on all fours as the chakra around her started to bubble, as the mist started to get thick. As she looked around, where are you? A voice then spoke. It seemed to be coming from everywhere. 8 choices: liver, kidneys, lungs, heart, spine, clavicle vein, neck vein, brain. As everyone could hear the voice as it spoke. You think this is gonna scare me, said Yujito. Her 2 tails were lashing around, hoping to catch the boy before he could strike. No, but this will. Flickers of shadows dashed towards her. Ghosts, it seems, wearing black robes with no face. Yujito released a massive fireball. The part of the mist that evaporated by the fireball reformed rather easily. You made one mistake, and for that, you're gonna pay. Yujito was thrown as something slammed into her. She slammed into the arena wall. The mist made its way after her. It even started to get larger and larger. In the first row, the people were sweating because it was a scary competition. On one side, there was strong, unruly power. On the other side, there was the unknown, the mist that seemed to engulf everything around. When they squint their eyes, they also saw some black robes, things that seemed to be ghosts, moving around. Yujito roared as she blasts an extreme ball of flame from her mouth, dispersing the mist, tearing around the air around her. But to no avail because she hit no one. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a Nibi by the toe. If she roars, let her go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Got you. She turned. What she saw surprised her. The face was hidden behind a mask, covered in a dark robes. Bones coming from the sleeves. I should be immune to genjutsus. She stepped back, wondering what the hell was going on. What was this thing? The figure then vanished in a fine dust. Where am I? Who am I? I think I finally got it, don't I? And then once again she was thrown, this time right towards the barrier that protect the civilians, as she slammed right into it, hard. Usually her cloak protect her, but now she was being hit and tossed around. The mist started to raise up from the ground, like a thick fog covering the entire area. You don't know, do you? She screamed as a voice spoke right in her ear. As she was afraid, she went all out as she exploded in flames. As the giant, massive 2-tailed cat emerged, the steam radiated from it, evaporated the mist around. Minato winks at the Biju marching around the arena as he looked towards Killer B. To scare Yujito like that boy must be one hell of a scare. But she's still fine. Otherwise, she would have already gone on a rampage. And if she tried to, I'll calm her down immediately. No, that's a real shinobi, said Zabuza. No flashy power, but able to scare a damn Jinjulki. To make her lose control like that. That's a real shinobi, Zabuza said. Katsumi was clutching onto her mother tightly. The scene below was scary, because the monster in the mist was calling for the Nibi to attack. I've never heard of a jutsu like that. Must be one of the Hokage's secret jutsus. No, Kushinaheim. It's the Kiri mist jutsu, but he's shaping it in a form entirely differently. Wait, what? He's doing all of this with just a D-rank jutsu? No, if you look really well, you can see the theatric in place. The Nibi is just too scared to see them. As Zabuza nodded at that, where are you? The small Nibi roared in the arena as she jumped towards a mist monster. 2 jutsus were let off. Water style. A massive torrent of water slammed her into the wall that seemed to swallow the entire form of Nibi. As the wall started to crack because of the force, a giant water bolt then slammed right into her face, throwing her back. The flames extinguished around Nibi's body as the real body of Yujito started to reform As she fall, she drop as she slam right down hard. After all, she had been lifted off the ground in her giant form, and now that she returned back small, it was quite the drop. Everyone watched as they breathed a sigh of relief as the mist evaporated. As Naruto looked a bit pale as he walked out of the mist, but there was not even a scratch on him. Next to him, there was a poof, two poof. It was his chameleons. Well, no one saw them, so they didn't know. As Kakashi was the first one to regain his cool as he came over. Winner, Naruto Senju, as the entire crowd erupted. The claps loud as Naruto felt a bit embarrassed by all the praise as he scratched the back of his head. A water user, a Senju. He has all the cards to become Tobirama's second, right? Say Danzo. As Harrison molded over, even down to the part of summoning the dead. But those ghosts of his, mere blankets tied in ninja wire. But they did serve the purpose of letting her lose her cool. You need to get some rest, said Kakashi. You're a bit on the chakra exhaust inside, I can see. Open the box. Well, she did get into the semi-final rounds, didn't she? Said Minato. But she should have been more prepared against Senju-san. You could hear a bit of teasing tone in his voice. Zabuza simply chuckled. Damn, this scene is taken out of the history book, said Zabuza. Killer Bee said nothing. What is? Asked Kushina. I have no doubt that main jutsu is good. But there's a reason why he's not a seven swordsman of the mist. He's rash and he acts without thinking. He will probably go down here. And the last round will probably show a Senju versus Uchiha. Something faded, said Minato. But Itachi is not Madara Uchiha, and Naruto is not Senju Hoshirama. Yeah, said Kushina. They're both good kids. Strange. Coming from someone who disowned the boy. The words escaped Killer Bee's lips as Katsumi heard them. As Katsumi noticed her mother and father stood still for a moment before they returned back to speaking their tone a bit harsher. He improved, good thing. Otherwise, he would have kept being a brat, said Minato, as his tone was much harsher than before, no longer praising the Senju. He improved so much that he was adopted into the Senju clan and became the heir of the most noblest clan of Konoha. I should notify the Mizukage if disowning that boy worked miracles. I guess that was a standing order. As he turns attention back to the battle, Main Jutsu versus Itachi Uchiha. Main Jutsu was hard looking at the ground. Let's see if your little tricks will take me down, he said. His pointed teeth jutted from his lips as he smiled. Itachi said nothing as he remained calm. As Kakashi looked at the both of them. Alright, begin. With that Main Jutsu, move forward. But guys, be in subs right here. If you want to see the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, stay in tune for the result of what is coming over on Anime King and Anime King 3. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.